Tēnā koutou e te whānau.
Te whānau.
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Jackie. This is my husband, and we own a Pakehi Māori, a Māori business here in New Zealand, and create content on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. If you can hear our little darling in the background, she's currently in her moinga in her cot, so I might just have to pop out and go get her if she needs me. But in today's video, we wanted to be a little bit personal with you guys. We wanted to open up the curtain a little bit on who we are, what makes us who we are, and share a personal experience with you all on a topic that means a lot to us. So that topic that we're going to talk about today is why we decided that we wanted to be married before having kids, before we had tamariki. So that's what we're going to chat about today. For me, my main reasonings for wanting to get married before kids was the example I had growing up with my parents. I won't delve too deep into this, but essentially my mum and dad had a relationship that was toxic. It wasn't very good. It was a relationship that I didn't want to have when I was an adult and when I started dating. It was, pretty much an example of what I didn't want. My mum and dad never got married. They didn't make it that far, which was probably a blessing in disguise, to be honest. But seeing them in the relationship they had, I wanted the opposite. So I wanted to find someone that wasn't like my dad. I just wanted a relationship that had this commitment, that made this decision together, and was looking for someone to keep me safe. That's very important for me. And I will be honest, in my previous relationships, I made the wrong decision by dating these people. I mean, I learned different lessons from them, and I'm glad that I had that experience. But if I followed this advice that I have now, and coming back to my core reasonings of what I see in a partner, and a life partner, and a husband, I never would have dated the people that I had. So it was very much wanting the opposite of what my parents had, and just ensuring that I wasn't going to put myself and my children in the same position that I was in when I was a child. So that was my main reasoning on why I wanted to get married before kids.
So for my experience e te whānau, it's really opposite to my darling in terms of my whānau dynamic, my family dynamic. So mum and dad have been married ever since I've been young, or ever since I've been born, ever since I've been alive. And for me, I wanted that. I wanted to have someone to grow old with. I wanted to marry my wife and have children with her. And in my experience, that's what I wanted to be, because that's the example I had. It's not like mum and dad were perfect. They still fought. They still probably made some not so great decisions. But ultimately, my dad loves mum, and mum loves dad, and they set that example for me to follow. And I mean, what else can I do? Every time I had a girlfriend, because I kind of picked it up at a really young age. That's where I was kind of looking at things, was, can I see myself marrying this woman, this girl, and do I want her to be the mother to my children? But then also, whānau dynamics and all that sort of stuff. So I was doing that at a very young age. And like my darling, my past relationships, I learned a lot, as we all do, but reflecting back on them now with the mindset that I have now, I realized that they weren't the right choice for me. And mum said a good thing, people come into your life when they need to and then leave when they need to. So, maybe they were only meant to be in my life for a short amount of time to teach me a lesson, and then they left. But when it comes to marriage, my darling is my second marriage. So I'm 29, which isn't that old. And my first marriage, I was married when I was 23, pretty much fresh out of the womb. Didn't know what I was doing with my life, didn't know anything in terms of my choices. I thought I had things figured out, but I didn't. And there was more that I wanted to do with my life and goals and all of this sort of stuff. But certain situations in life got in the way of that and didn't allow me to be the person I wanted to be. And that took an effect on my relationship and my first marriage, which didn't last very long. I got married in 2018. Some of you who are watching probably know the whole backstory, but yeah, I got married in 2018, and then in 2019, that's pretty much when everything went tits up. Yeah, went through quite a dark period in my life during that, but that's all because of, again, going back to my mum and dad, because of the example that I had when I was young. That's what I wanted to be, and so I was hell-bent on making sure that the person that I married was going to be the one that I spend the rest of my life with. And I was willing to give up a lot, and I gave a lot of myself up, damaged a lot of relationships that I had within my whānau, and turned into someone that I didn't like. I didn't like looking at him in the mirror, and just, yeah, really just didn't want to be here. But that was because of the example I had, and me telling myself this story, that I had to make sure that the person I married was going to be the one I spend the rest of my life with. And yeah, where can I go from there? So yeah, a lot of learnings. I know I'm still learning to this day, as we all are, but it's all a part of my story. And once I realized that even though I had that example, that's not how my story is meant to be told. And if it means that I am meant to be married twice, then that's how it's supposed to be. And I've just got to accept that and move on, because from that, I met this one. I married this one, and now she's the mother to our beautiful daughter. So, you know, all of these things are put in front of us for a reason, e te whānau. Whether you believe in that superficial stuff or not, they are. Yeah, try your best to, I guess, have an outside perspective on the things that are happening in your life, why they're happening, but also don't forget to look inwards and reflect on the things that you could be doing better to ensure that the things that are happening in your life are the best things that could be happening.
Just on that, it was very funny at our wedding. My darling, in his speech, brushed over.
Yeah. I just mentioned it.
He made a joke saying like, this sounds familiar or something like that. And everyone in my whānau, well, not everyone, but a few cousins and uncles and stuff were looking at each other like, hey, what's he on about? And they didn't even know that he was married before and had a full wedding and everything. That was very funny. So on that piece, that was a lot for us to navigate in our relationship, especially early on. Obviously, this is my first marriage, and I wanted to have all the bells and whistles, and I wanted to obviously make sure that if I was going to be in a relationship with my darling, that marriage was still on the table, because I didn't want to be with someone and not have that. So yeah, a lot of navigating, a lot of big kōrero, a lot of sitting down and just navigating this relationship together and
disagreements too.
Yeah.
We had disagreements about all of this because of the situation, or because of my circumstance. I was saying like, oh, there's no need to do the whole thing and all of that. But my mum, pulled me up, and she says, in her eyes, this is the only wedding that she is going to get. So you've got to get over yourself, because you're not that special and you shouldn't be projecting those feelings onto your soon-to-be wife, onto your fiance. So and I was like, oh, yeah, true. Just before we wrap up, e te whānau, I just want to say, you don't need to take this as advice or whatever. Take it however you want. But your partner is the contributor to pretty much 99% of the choices that you're going to make in your life. Picking the right partner is important. Picking the wrong partner could essentially waste a decade of your life. Yeah, it kind of did for us. We learned our lessons, and like my darling said, we've been together for 4 years and we're already married and have a child together. But that just goes to show you what you can achieve if you really just take the time to learn about yourself, but have the right person in your corner, because the wrong one will just set you down a path that you don't even know you're walking down, and then before you know it, you've ended up somewhere that you don't want to be, and it's been 10-12 years. I know some people will say, oh, but it's my circumstance, and I don't have the luxury of this and that, and I fully understand that, but our choices are our choices, whānau. So you do have the power to make those choices in your life and wait for that right person to come along. Even if they don't come along until you're 32, or they don't come along until you're 27, or some people are lucky enough to meet them when they're 17 years old, like kei akwe, it's all good, it's up to you. But I just really wanted to reiterate that, because the success that we have in our life is definitely a product of the relationship that we have. We support one another, we look after one another, and the only thing we do wish is that we met each other sooner. But then we always make the kōrero as well, is that if we did meet each other sooner, would we have been the same people? We don't know. We might not have been ready for each other by then. So us going through our past relationships and learning the lessons we needed to, it's like we met at the right time, becoming the people that we were meant to be so that we were ready for each other to move on into the future. So yeah, I just wanted to drop that in before we shut off, because I feel like that's a topic, or that's something that a lot of people don't realize, and they just go out and find the girl, the hottest chick, or they want to be with like the hottest guy, or they earn a lot of money or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's all about those other important values. You know, do they support you? Do they support your dreams and your goals? And you know, there's even whānau dynamics and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, so take that with a grain of salt, te whānau, however you want. But I just thought I'd chuck that in.
Man, that is such a good one. That is probably the number one thing that I really want to teach our children, is to not get so hung up in relationships so early on, especially when you're in high school and all of that. You've got your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah.
Do your goals, figure out what your passion is, do really good at school, do sports, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's
just focus on you, like
focus on you.
You're so young, you're so full of potential. We're probably going to delve into this now anyway, but you know, when I was at school, I kind of wish that I never went down that route, because I did end up sacrificing a lot to have a girlfriend. You know, there were probably friendships that I could have cultivated but didn't, because I had a missus, you know. So there's just all of these sorts of things, like, you know, and I know, like, being young as well, you know, all the hormones, and you're growing and you don't really understand what's going on in your body and whatnot. But it's just, when you reflect back on those years being a lot older, like even 19, that was 10 years ago. Like, even then, you're still so young. Like, what's the rush, you know? So
yeah, that's a big lesson that we're going to teach our kids. And I think that'll also help you find the right person as well, because you just know yourself more when you're a little bit older.
Yeah.
You know what you want in life, you know the direction you're going. When you're 15, 16, 17, 18, all the way to 21, even 22,
you want to do everything under the sun.
Yeah, you're still a baby, so just wait.
Live and learn.
Yeah. Have fun, don't be serious. Okay, te whānau, that's probably a whole nother kōrero. If there are any particular topics that you are interested in knowing for future videos, anything more on this, I guess, more personal level, we do have a lot of life experience between us two. Please do drop them in the comments below. Other than that, te whānau, that is a wrap for this video. If you found value out of it, please give us a like and a subscribe, and we will catch you in tomorrow's video. Ka kite.
Te whānau.